9:30 Central Time on NBC. Captain Nice, champion of justice.
It's some nut in his underwear.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
His paintings redefined comic book heroes. His vision inspired a generation. The Legend of Kingdom Come is the definitive documentary on Alex Ross, known as the Norman Rockwell of comics.
It almost looked like Renaissance paintings, except for superheroes.
He makes them look like Olympian gods.
We go behind the scenes of his definitive graphic novel, Kingdom Come, now on Blu-ray, packed with exclusive interviews and unseen artwork. Order today at legendofkingdomcome.com.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. For just $3 a month or more, you'll get exclusive access to the Word Balloon e-magazine, featuring transcriptions of some of my best conversations. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. Welcome back, everybody. There you go, the fist punching. Indeed. You know, it's time for another Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntra's here. You know, one of my favorite publishers out there that cover comics in magazine form are the Two Morrows guys. They give us Alter Ego. They give us Lego Master, but more important, I think it's Lego Master. Ed will correct me. But they also do Retro Fan. Retro Fan's a fantastic magazine that Mike Urey started a few years ago and has since passed the baton to a contributor, former contributor, still does write articles, but here he is, the editor-in-chief, everybody, of Retro Fan. It's Ed Catto. Welcome back, buddy.
All right. Thanks, John. It's always good to be here. Thank you for your time, buddy.
I'm excited to talk to you about the current issue because, again, look at that right there on the cover, old chum. The Bright Knight, if you will. Adam West, man. Great article.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is so much fun. And as you say, I kind of took over the reins from Michael Urey, my good pal, kind of turned it over to me. And little by little, you know, I've been working on it, kind of assisting him. He showed me the ropes. And now I've got the reins. And this is kind of like the first super duper full issue, you know, like soup to nuts. I didn't design the cover, but just about soup to nuts. And so it's appropriate with, you know, Adam West Batman on the cover, which is in many ways my gateway drug to everything pop culture, to comics and movies and the whole bit.
I was the same way, Ed. I mean, you and I were of that probably 5-day-a-week syndicated Batman at our local stations and stuff. And when we were watching it, when we were little kids and stuff, I always say there's 3 stages of watching Batman. The first is when you are a 5-year-old or whatever. You buy everything. It's high drama. Those fist fights are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about the colors, everything. Then, I don't know. I think and I don't know if this was like it for you, but when I was like 12, I'm like, you know, it's kind of hokey. Whatever. Yeah. But then by my teen years, I'm like, oh, it's hokey on purpose. This is a parody. These guys are geniuses. And I suddenly had newfound respect for Adam West, who was always a great-looking leading man. But, man, he could deliver comedy, and certainly in subsequent decades with Family Guy and that wonderful pilot he made, Look Well, with Smigel and Conan O'Brien. No, the guy was a genius. And also, my God, you got to encounter Adam West, as we learn in the opening editorial, right from a very early age. Talk about it.
Yeah, sure. So I was dating this beautiful blonde in Buffalo, and I was going to school in Ithaca, and I go to see her one weekend, and there was a car show in town, and Adam West is there. Now, this would have been like early 83, I think we figured out, 83. And Adam West was there in the bat suit, and it looked really good on him. He was very fit, and with one of the Batmobiles. And so, I'm so grateful this girl didn't boot me to the curb, but I'm like, let's go see Adam West. What a great date I am, right? So we go to the car show and we wait in line. There's all these little kids and we're two college kids. And we see Adam West and we get up there and I was a little starstruck. Usually I'm not starstruck, but I was with him and he looked at this woman I was dating and he didn't quite lick his chops, but he's like, oh, a man of exquisite taste. I was like, Adam West, please don't hit on my girlfriend. Like I've waited 20 years to meet you. Please don't hit on my girlfriend. And I have a picture of that, and we put that in the magazine, like Adam West with young Kathy. And in fact, I ended up marrying that woman. So she's in the other room now. Yeah.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, again, I will echo Mr. West that your wife is lovely, and that's good for you. And you don't have to worry about me trying to steal your wife.
Yeah,
that's
please,
all right.
don't hit on my wife. Jeez, Louise.
But you can totally come on, Adam West, man. He had game for a long time, man.
Oh, he did, and he did. So the second time I met him was we had this Captain Action project, and we've tried to get animation going many times, and still are. And we were having this breakfast meeting with Adam and his old agent, this great fellow Fred, who also passed. But we were having breakfast, so it's Joe Ahern from Captain Action and me, and I brought along Kathy, now my wife, and I swear Adam West was flirting with the waitresses. He's like,
of course,
and he was very charming too. He's like the most charming guy in the restaurant. The
smoothest voice, and that's why he started his career, as evidenced in your article about Adam. He was a radio guy before people realized what a great actor he could be on camera as well. But he has that voice. And come on, that's a soothing, relaxing voice, man. Come on, you're immediately at ease. And
it's a great voice. Yeah. It means so much to like our generation too. But even without that, it's a fantastic voice.
Come on, absolutely, man. And it's so great that he came back to the character, and that Back to the Batcave TV movie they made, and of course his book as well that it's based on. But also those horrible. I was just talking to another friend earlier today about those NBC hour-long Challenge of the Superheroes and Roast of the Superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, recently on Facebook short videos, I've seen a clip of him fighting Solomon Grundy, and he and Burt Ward are back in the suits. And that was like 10 years after they had stopped being on the TV series. And like you said, they still look great in the uniforms.
Yeah. Gee, I vividly remember getting excited and watching that on TV. And like, I was at the age where it was like, oh, this is so disappointing. So disappointing. I can remember, I'd love to dig this up. There was an ad of the woman who played the Huntress, like Earth 2 Huntress had just been introduced, and she was in one of them.
Yes.
And I was like, holy cow, I can't believe that's kind of we didn't use the word then, but that's a deep cut. Like,
I wonder if Mike Gold was working at DC at the time, because that was around that time when he was the publicity guy and Superman Ali and everything. It was around that same period.
Yeah, we should. He'd be,
because if anybody knows about it, it would be him. And I know too that the magazine has written about those specials in the past. And it's interesting that the woman that played Giganta is one of the first transsexuals.
Yeah, right.
And everything, which is kind of crazy, but cool that there was representation even back then.
Yeah, fantastic. I just, William Shaller is a guy I always loved, but boy, not in that role. Oh,
retired man.
Oh,
Or the comedian Jeff Altman was the weather wizard. I've told you my Charlie Callis story, haven't I?
Yeah, I think I've heard it on the show.
Yeah, sorry everybody if it's a rerun and you're like, yeah, John, we know, John, shut up. In the 90s, at our sports radio station, Charlie Callis was coming through to do his stand-up routines at one of the casinos, one of the riverboat casinos we had in Chicagoland back then. And he came in, and our host, I was the sidekick on the show, and our host is like, the movies with Jerry Lewis and your appearances on Ed Sullivan and Dean Martin and all the variety shows. And I'm like, by the way, you were excellent as Sinestro in these superhero things. and his giant eyes got even bigger. And he nudged his front man that was with him, his producer or whatever. He's like, you see, he's like, there's one of you in every city. We can cross you off the list. We've met you. I'm like, did you see the comics? He's like, I did. I'm like, you didn't need much makeup, pal. You look like a Gil Kane drawing of Sinestro. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
gosh, winning points with Sinestro. I just love
Number
that.
one Marvel fan, 707, a couple comments. And he says, I've seen Adam West Adam West many times at cons. He was always fun on Big Bang Theory. I don't remember him on Big Bang.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, but I mean, he was great, of course, on Family Guy. But also, Marvel fan says, back issue's my favorite, or retro fan, pardon me, my favorite magazine. Been getting it since first issue. I've tried to tell everyone to get it. Don't want it to stop being made. I don't think you have to worry about that.
Oh yeah, I don't want it to stop either.
He also says hopefully his new issue will be coming soon. Now you sent me the digital copy. Is the hard copy out?
Yeah, the hard copy is just out. So Marvel fan, hopefully it's on its way. If there's a problem, give me a shout and we'll hook you up. But yeah, the subscription copies are probably en route most times, and maybe with the mail it's taking a little longer.
Yeah,
also available through Lunar at comic shops now, so we're very happy with that and grateful for that too.
And the Tomorrow's website, of course, tomorrows.com.
You can get any issue without subscribing, just right from the Tomorrow's website. Yeah, thanks for that, John. And you can get a digital copy too. If you have too much paper in your house, which I do, but I always get more. That's okay.
Pardon me.
So yeah. So and it's kind of the whole retro fan thing. We come out 6 times a year, every other month, bi-monthly, and it's so much fun when you get like that point. It's out, and then some of the letters start to come in, and there's a buzz about it, and everybody talks about it for 2 months, and then that next one starts creeping in, and it gets exciting. But we're right in the start period of this issue 42, excuse me.
Okay.
42, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Very proud of this issue, and the next few are going to be dynamite too.
There you go. And yeah, Marvel fan says he waits for the hard copy to read it.
Oh yeah, good for you.
That's cool.
Good for you.
And Ange is joining us as well. Ange is a Word Balloon regular as far as viewer and listener. He says, great that Adam got the chance to be the Gray Ghost in the Bruce Timm Batman animated series. Absolutely.
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah. And he was Bruce Wayne's hero.
Yeah.
Which is great, and really having the two Batmen together like that, him and Conroy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It reminds me of when back in the early 80s during the Buck Rogers TV show when Buster Crabbe got to do that cameo.
I remember that vividly. That was a big deal.
Oh yeah. So no, that's great, man. Well, again, I showed the image of the cover. So again, it's a Retrofan 42, everybody. And right there in the upper right-hand corner, I see a Rankin Bass figure. Is that a Santa?
Oh yeah. So there's this fellow, Rick Goldschmidt, who's actually an incredible Captain Action collector. That's a whole nother story. But he is maybe the most knowledgeable person about Rankin Bass on planet Earth, right? So he's their official historian. He's the guy who does like all the DVD extras for the, every new release. He's the guy they look to for the details whenever they license it out. Some new company will license Rudolph, and it's like, hey, what color is this rabbit? Or, what do the raccoons do? And, Rick's like, oh, no, that's not that. They do it like this. He knows more. Great guy, super passionate. So he's doing this. This article, this go round, is on the Year Without a Christmas with
Year Without a Santa Claus, right?
Year Without a Santa Claus, exactly.
Now that's the Shirley Booth one as Mrs. Claus, am I right?
Yes, right. So she
Sure.
is at the beginning. This is the one that the characters everyone remember are Heat Miser and Snow Miser.
Right.
And yeah, so it's fantastic. The other day at work, it was a cold day, and someone says, well, there's really no such thing as cold. It's just the absence of heat. And yeah. And so I was like, Oh yes. Well, I have to disagree with you. And like, when you are so. Well, of course there's cold because there's the cold miser and the heat miser. And he looked at me like I was crazy, but
He's Mr. Green Christmas. He's Mr. Sun. Come on. Was Maury Amsterdam one of them? Was who played Heat Miser and Cold Miser?
Yeah. Wait a sec. I've got it right here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So the Heat Miser and Jingle the Elf.
You can throw out other names of other characters if they're handy.
Yeah. Dick Shawn.
Dick Shawn was Cold Miser or Heat Miser?
And then George S. Irving.
Okay.
Dick
All right.
Shawn
Not as big a name, but still very
Miser.
funny.
Yeah. George S. Irving was Heat Miser.
Okay. And Dick Shawn was Cold Miser
Yeah.
or Snow Miser?
Snow Miser.
Snow Miser. All right. Very good. No, dude, come on. Well, and I think I have told you before, but I always have a special place in my heart for Rudolph because it premiered the day I was born, December 2nd, 1964.
Oh, wow.
And I love that fact about it because I kind of blew it with some celebrity birthdays. I share one with Britney Spears. Yeah, great. I wasn't impressed in 1999 when I learned that. But the fact that I was born the day that Rudolph premiered on TV, and as you know, and likely covered in the magazine, it took them a year with that stop motion animation to shoot those things.
Right. Yeah. It took forever. I mean, now AI can do it in 8 seconds. But yeah, those things were incredible. And even like when I was watching it to prepare for the article, you're like, how did they make that miniature bed or dresser in the bedroom? It's just the level is just bananas. And
100%. Yeah, man. No, and that's why. I think Rudolph was the first one, and then we got Santa Claus is Coming to Town with Fred Astaire and Mickey Rooney.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Artie and Franco and I and our buddy Scoot, when we get together and do the Oh Yeah podcast, this time of year we always make fun of some of the songs, and they are a little embarrassing, and some of the lyrics can certainly be taken in other connotations about sitting in Santa's lap and things like that. It's like but and also we love how who ends up being Mrs. Claus, Jessica, the school teacher, when she breaks 3 and doesn't have her hair in a bun anymore. She lets her hair down. It's like sexy puppet Jessica or whatever. And it's like, hey, wasn't this for 7-year-olds? You really want to give 7-year-olds hard-ons? What are you doing?
Yeah, she was the sexiest thing. And then poor Shirley Booth in this version, they kind of, it worked, but it's a slightly different mythology.
Well, she's heavier now, so that's all right. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, the guy. Yeah, again, early 70s shows. Yeah, man, absolutely. No, I love these specials, and I look forward to them. Man, again, you're saying about AI. I mean, on Instagram, and I'm sure other people have seen it too. People are really being funny, but in a very cruel way. Like I saw for the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special, they got Franklin complaining at the you call this a Thanksgiving? What's wrong with you? And I'm being kind. It gets a lot nastier than that. But I also saw one of the Frosty, the snowman thing, and it's like, get the hell away from me, children. And it totally sounds like what's his face, the comedian that played Frosty, whose name right now is escaping.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget. He was like an Ed Sullivan kind of classic guy that was in a million Ed Sullivan shows back in the 60s.
Annie was the narrator.
Yeah. And the kids was sad because Frosty was melting. Yes. Hey, Karen.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Come on. Those are great. And the great Billy DeWolf is the evil magician.
Oh, yeah.
Busy.
Oh, that guy's the worst.
I cannot think of. All right. Peanut Gallery, help me out with who played Frosty on the Frosty the Snowman cartoon. But I do. The one that and it's another Rankin Bass one that was far too traumatizing, and I really didn't like watching it, was the little drummer boy.
My mom loved it, and that traumatized me too. They never show that. Oh, that kid was so dirty and sad.
Yeah, well, also, like it starts like Star Wars starts, where his village gets burnt to the ground and he's an orphan.
Oh, is that it? Yeah.
And he's kind of on his own. And that's why he's a little drummer boy, and you never see his parents after the first couple minutes. It's like, well, Well, that's not Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's Tatooine. Yeah.
It is Tatooine. A Tatooine, a holiday special. Absolutely, man. Nothing better than roasting your hands by the fire of the burnt farm that burned to the ground.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Ange is with us. He goes, yeah, they had to paint. That's right. They had to paint the smile on the little drummer boy's face because he was so angry all the time.
Oh,
so
that's
yeah,
lost. Dude, we should do an article on that one. I feel that is the lost
next year, man. There you go. That's a good holiday article.
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
We got our man lined up for the Easter Bunny one coming up.
And I forget who was in that. The Easter Bunny's coming to town. Sure. Yeah, right. And I think that was another Fred Astaire. I think Fred Astaire came back from that one. I think he was the postman again.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. No, come on. And Paul Frees as the Burgermeister Meisterburger in Santa Claus. No toys.
Great
boy. And he also he did a dual role. He played the Burgermeister and he played his lieutenant. Yes, Burgermeister. Because he can do different voices like that. I love that. Was Paul Frees was Captain Peach Fuzz on the Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons.
Yeah, it was one of the Fantastic Four voices. Was he Ben or somebody?
Yeah, he was Ben Grimm. That's right. He was Ben. Ed and I were talking old time radio, and we were talking about the great Gerald Moore.
Yeah,
who was Philip Marlowe on the radio, but he was Reed Richards on the Fantastic.
I still hear his voice in my head when I read the comics. Yeah.
Honestly, man, those voice actors, I feel very fortunate. You should get someone. Maybe Scott Shaw knows how to book Tim Matheson to get him on to have him sit down and actually it's a shame, he just wrote his autobiography, which is an excellent read, by the way. But it was so much fun talking to him about his Hanna-Barbera years as Johnny Quest and Young Samson, and he worked with all those great animation voice actors who were already great radio actors.
Yeah, he seemed like a great guy. I listened to that show and I thought he was great. Seemed like a nice fella.
Well, I was lucky. My buddy Joe Henderson, who was the Lucifer TV show showrunner.
Oh yeah.
Tim was directing a lot of episodes, and I'm always happy to talk about Joe's comics and Lucifer. And he's like, "Hey, what can I do for you?" I'm like, "Get me Tim Matheson." He's like, "He's a nice guy." He goes, "I think he'd do it." And sure enough, and he could not have been sweeter. I wish we had done video, but he was so nice. Yeah, it was that's a great episode. I'm very proud of that episode.
Yeah, he's a good man.
But so give me some other. I noticed on the cover, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters covered.
Scott Shaw does Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. He does this great thing just about every month where he'll take a Saturday morning show, or sometimes he'll do funky things like he'll do the ads for Saturday morning or the preview shows. But yeah, this was more than you ever thought you could learn about Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Holy smokes. There was all kinds of drama the first season and the second season. There was a fire on the set, and Scott walks us all through it. And he always does a fantastic job with his articles too.
Johnny Whitaker from Family Affair, wasn't he? The kid?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, him, and then
the second kid. Yeah,
right. Then there was instead of one boy, there was like two brothers.
Yes,
and Billy Barty was Sigmund. And,
Billy Barty.
Yeah. All kinds of, like the woman who was the Margaret Hamilton was in it briefly. The Wicked Witch of the West.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. Like as the troublesome neighbor type person, and she was out. But yeah, that's a crazy little show, and it's all those. I feel all those Sid and Marty Krofft shows. They're all kind of like of a certain time, and this was like that second stage of the shows.
Yeah, after like Puffin stuff and some of the earlier stuff. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Absolutely. Did you know there was a Sid and Marty Krofft amusement park briefly in Atlanta?
No kidding.
And it was on the grounds where CNN is now. And I've never been there. And actually, I'd have to go back and listen to when the Crofts were on Gilbert Gottfried's old podcast, or maybe Frank Santopadre is going to recover that ground with his new podcast. But that's where I heard the most details about it. But yeah, and more than I think about it, as I'm remembering, I believe it was in like an indoor mall.
Huh.
And yeah, but they had
that's a great story idea. I mean, we've got some Disney stuff coming up, and and I just wrote an article about Christmas Tree Village outside of Albany, and some of those forgotten amusement parks are almost more interesting than Disney. It's like, what were they?
I completely agree, man. Hey, whatever happened to, there was a little Abner Dog Patch amusement park.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, you're right. There were a lot of things like that didn't. Well, and of course, we know as comic book fans, they wanted to build the big amusement park down in Metropolis, Illinois, southern tip of the state, and we got those great conceptual drawings in that big, the limited edition dollar-sized book. And I'm like, well, I live in Illinois. Wait a minute, I can't wait. And it never happened. I always ask the woman that runs the Superman Museum down in Metropolis now, because her dad was of that generation and aware and everything. And it's like, unfortunately, the finances didn't work out, so it never happened, obviously. But thankfully, with the Superman Museum they have down there, it's worth it if you're driving, if you're on your way to Kentucky. It's worth it. I mean, Illinois is a long state. It's an 8-hour drive from Chicago.
Oh wow!
So that's what's kept me. That's what's kept me from going. I don't like to drive in the car for 2 hours, let alone 8 hours.
Yeah,
and there's no direct train line. I mean, I guess I could do like a Greyhound or something like that, but it would probably be with stops and everything like a 10-hour drive.
Right.
And it's like, that's all right. But
for Metropolis,
but they do well.
On my way to Kentucky. I mean, I've never said that phrase. Probably should go someday.
Come on, man! Absolutely, you go visit the great Tony Moore down in Covington, Kentucky. He's down there, comic book artist.
Oh yeah.
So I believe me, I understand. But no, I had her on actually this past fall. She and really, had the video going, and she took us around the Superman Museum, and it's fantastic. And her father collected a lot of really cool stuff, and every year in June they have a big Superman festival down in Metropolis, and a lot of the old television people Noelle Neal ended up living down there. She loved it so much. So her final years, she was down in Metropolis, which is kind of perfect that Lois Lane spent her final years in Metropolis.
Yeah, right.
But
no. Was she? I saw that in the movie.
No. Yeah, she would. Yeah, that was an interesting wrinkle of Superman Returns where Noelle played Lex's lover and everything. Pretty funny. But all right, what else was in the magazine this week?
So we have a Jim Beard is a new writer who's jumped on board a few times, and this year he did a kind of a bolt on to our Batman article all about Batmania at that time and some of the weird versions. And so he talks about that crazy Justice Society Robin of Earth 2 Batman, and then he talks about this other great tale where Batman dressed up as Robin in an early stage, like to be mentored by a detective. And that usually we don't get as comic booky as that, but that was a lot of fun. That article has been getting a lot of traction.
Well, that JSA crossover with the JLA, and you had by all means, I'll zoom in. Hold on. Yeah. I'm glad you opened it up. Yeah, there it is. It's on the right hand page there, guys, and women. But there you go. Yeah, and right there on that top image, obviously, of Robin in that kind of weird costume. I love that costume, Ed. I got to be honest. And Ed, am I wrong? Because I saw the mock-up for what would have been a Captain Action thing. Is that going to happen, or was that?
When we were working and developing DC licensed products, and we're going to have Batman, Superman, Lex Luthor. Was it Lex Luthor and Brainiac? And as a variant, we realized we could do that costume. It'd be really easy to do, like the way toys were made then. Now it's in fact changed just 12 years later. But yeah, we had that all ready to go, and that would have been a hoot to do. And maybe someday we'll still get to it. I'm always hopeful.
DC wouldn't license it, or
the whole deal fell through when Toys R Us went south. They were our main buyers. So You know,
I understand. No,
that,
I get it.
that was a tough one.
That's
So,
a shame, man. No,
yeah.
I know. You and Art Balthazar have a friendly rivalry because Artie's Amigo guy, and you, of course, are the Captain Action guy. You and Joe
Yeah.
Ahern. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
love
the first.
Artie, but it's not really a rivalry because he's just so misguided. I feel bad for the man. Yeah. How can he be interested
See,
in
and
Amigo?
I was, and well, actually, you were too, because we're close enough in age. I'm a little bit
Yeah.
older, but
Yeah.
I always felt I was smack dab in the middle. I was a Captain Action guy,
Yeah.
and I was just a little too old to get into Amigo,
Yeah.
but I respected him.
Yeah, in those days, I was like, I'm not going to ever play with those. You know, like in those days, I guess you kind of grew out of your toys too. Not like
Right.
today where you have an
Yeah.
action figure collection.
No, this is, we're probably in junior high or whatever when Migos
Yeah.
hit. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm, at that point, it's like, no, I'm getting older. I don't
Yeah.
want that stuff anymore.
Yeah, right.
I want to
Right.
date girls.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I get it.
absolutely.
Well, I
Yeah.
said that about the generation under us that are so into Thundercats and Transformers and G.I. Joe. And I'm like, that's great, guys. I was trying to get laid then. I'm like, that absolutely. And He-Man, Celia and I always talk about how much, he loves He-Man. And I'm like, hey, I get it. I
Yeah.
was just, at that point, that was high school and college years. It's like, I had other things on my mind. That's all right.
Yeah, yeah. A fella I work with loves gargoyles, and he speaks so passionately about gargoyles, and I'm like, gee, that's just the way I speak about my stuff. But
Oh, yeah.
click older, that was a little bit behind me.
I don't know if because again, Ed's been on it many times before. People, if this is the first time you've seen Ed on Word Balloon or heard Ed on Word Balloon, but we've certainly talked. Ed's got the Captain Action. Do you still have it, Ed? Do you still have the license too?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, and over the years, Ed has put out limited edition things like he got Walt Simonson to sculpt a Thor rubber mask that you put over your Captain Action and a Thor costume and everything. Who are some of the other comic book people?
Oh yeah,
and characters that you did.
The nice thing about that project is we worked with so many of our favorite comic guys. Paul Kupperberg, John Byrne, Walter, like you say, Fabian. Oh my gosh, Ron.
Well, those are writers. So what did they do for the costumes?
Yeah. Oh,
what did they do?
They did all the comics when we were published, like through Moonstone and then Dynamite. And
oh yeah, sure. No, yeah, you're fantastic. Right, there's a great Captain Action prose book out there.
Yeah, right.
That a lot of the guys contributed to.
Just to work with like all the people who you dig, and you're like, hey, Paul Gulacy, you don't know me from Adam, but would you like to do a thing? And we'll pay you fairly. And then you end up being his friend, and you're like, this is just so wonderful.
What did Paul design as an artist? Which costume and hero?
He did a bunch of things for us. So he did a bunch of covers, and then we used him he did like this great Lady Action cover, and then he did the cover when we were featured on the Overstreet Price Guide 47. Captain Action got the front piece. He did this great James Bond poster-esque illustration, and that was just fantastic.
That's great. Ed was also behind those 4 issues. Was it 4 issues, Ed, of Captain Action that DC put out in the late 60s?
Sure, 5 issues. It took us forever to reprint those, and we did that through IDW a couple of years ago. And Scott Dunbier managed the process, and he's a big Wally Wood fan, so he had kind of some skin in the game. And yeah, that book couldn't be more beautiful. That was just a great collection.
Yeah, rattle off the other artists. You mentioned Wally Wood, but who else drew those issues?
So on that series, it was people like Jim Shooter, Wally Wood, Gil Kane. In fact, Gil Kane did his first writing and drawing, his first writing, and and even like some funky things like oh gosh, the letter pages. I think Marty had a letter in the old
Marty Pasco.
Yeah, and there was one other fellow who became a pro too, had a letter in there.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a great. Kurt Schaffenberger did the ads. Murphy Anderson did the artwork on the packaging.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
man. Again, we had good childhoods, Ed. What can I say? Those are the Aurora models, and they'd have the mini comics in those.
fantastic stuff.
I'm with you, man. No. Those are fun. And I was going to say, when we were talking about Saturday morning cartoons, have you seen, I don't know who the collectors are, but there are some really savvy guys that I don't know how they got these videotapes of old 60s and 70s cartoons, and even through the 80s and 90s, Saturday morning stuff. And they'll put together like a Mondo 4-hour collection of a bunch of the old Saturday morning cartoons. And they even have the old commercials.
Oh, wow.
Stuff.
Oh,
and that's before
day or something. You mean?
Say it again.
Is it like September 12th, 1968 or something?
Well, it's not that specific, but it is specific to the year.
Oh, cool.
So like I had never, again, we were too little, but I knew there was a Hot Wheels cartoon in the late 60s.
Yeah, I remember.
And of course the comic book as well.
Yeah.
So there's a couple episodes of those floating around on these big Mondo collections. But yeah, man, it's and before the FTC in the 80s, well, the cartoons are being exploited for the sponsors. They're selling things all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know the difference between the commercial and the show. And so that's when we got all the life lessons out of G.I. Joe and
all the collaboration, teamwork.
Yeah. And they made shitty, animation shitty for a decade. And thank God in the 90s we got to be wise asses again, and thanks to people like Bruce Timm and some of the other fun people like that made Dexter's Lab and Ren and Stimpy and things like that. But that's a really crappy era. But yeah, they again in these Mondo collections of the 60s and 70s, as you know, Jay Ward made those Captain Crunch commercials, and they play like a Rocky and Bullwinkle episode.
Oh yeah, they're brilliant. Yeah, and in fact, I don't mean to be in pitch mode too much. I love our conversations, but we've got Aaron Salton doing a retro serial feature for us now, where we've talked about serials in the past, but now we're talking like all the cool serials with the cool collectibles, and we just had a Captain Crunch one, and touched upon all the ads, and those Jay Ward were great. And in those days too, like Captain Crunch had a much bigger cast with like a little girl, a little boy, and Seabiscuit the dog, and there was
his crew. Yeah, it's his shipmates. Yeah. No, we had Bozo Circus locally here in Chicago TV, and I remember they would give us like a gift bag for being in the audience as you left, and I had these giant buttons that had they didn't have Captain Crunch on them, but they had a couple of the kids.
Oh, all the supporting characters. Yeah. No one would know them now, but they were a big deal.
Oh God! Well, thankfully, again, you can see the commercials. They're posted on YouTube, and they're great. They're like I said, they're like little 2-minute Rocky and Bullwinkle episodes. They're fantastic.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
absolutely.
The old days, you would eat cereal while you're watching a show you liked, and like kind of had a toy in the living room floor at the same time. Like it all kind of fits together. No
question, man. Honestly, when we're off the air, I'm going to ask you about it because I don't think you've ever listened to. Do you never listen to Gilbert's old show, Godfrey? Did you?
Yeah, no, I never really did. I kind of knew about it, but never.
His co-host Frank Santopadre, he's got a great news show called Fun for All Ages, and if you see the logo for his podcast, it's a mocking of the old X-ray glasses ads that used to be in the Johnson & Johnson ads in the comic books and stuff. And he loves talking about this stuff and mentioning breakfast cereals. He did a whole episode on that. But really, he should have you on sometime.
Yeah.
And because really, you're covering the same 20th century pop culture stuff. You're doing it in print. He's doing it on the podcast. I do it when I talk about these things as well. But no, I need to get you guys together.
Yeah, we got to have a little love connection, John.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. Because he would. He one of his first episodes of his new show, he did a whole thing on Batman 66, as we call it now, and everything. And then, it's great. It's great. I always loved for Batman. And again, you can find them on YouTube. They used to have that great commercial that I think was made for ABC, but then they used it for the syndication as well, where Batman is in the elevator and he puts the rockets at the bottom of the elevator platform.
Yeah.
It's that Catwoman episode.
Yeah, right.
5, 4, 3, 2. Come on, that was awesome, man.
It was a great ad. That was a great ad. Yeah, and somehow that got repurposed, just the way they sliced and diced it.
And Will Murray, the fantastic pulp author, who has continued the tradition of the old popes and his modern writings and stuff. Tell me about his article.
Oh, yeah. So Will is there every month, and he has a wealth of knowledge about, well, shows like guys like you like he knows about every wheel show there ever was. But
the mystery wheel shows, yeah, like Columbo and McLeod and McMillan and wife. Go on.
Yeah. So this month he's got like double fisted. The first one that comes up is we've got it right after the Batman articles, and it's all about not really the Phantom, but about Lee Falk. And Lee Falk was the guy who created the Phantom and Mandrake, and fascinating guy. And when you think about it, like to be able to, have a hit like the Phantom, which to today's audiences, maybe they're like, oh, I love Mad Cave. I get it. But the Phantom was a big deal for a long time, as was Mandrake. And we've been exploring the way some of these authors have been like trying to keep up with their creations. We had this fascinating article a couple rounds ago about the woman, more or less, who created Nancy Drew. It's not quite that straightforward. It's really the publisher and the author, but like the creation kind of got away from them, and like that's the fascinating part. Like, holy smokes, you can't imagine it. Maybe we see that with some modern authors, but that's great. And he gives Lee Falk the treatment this time, and Will was friends with Lee Falk as well, so we got some insights and a lot of cool Phantom stuff. And I dragged some stuff from my dad's Phantom collection out in front of our photographers, and we stuck it in there. And the Phantom, if you love the Phantom, there's all this international beautiful collectibles that it's like, well, I never saw that. Well,
so that's the thing, as people here in the States lost track of the Phantom as the license wasn't maintained. Meanwhile, internationally, they never gave up on the Phantom. I know it's a big deal in Australia and various parts of Europe still.
Right.
And, our good friend Doug Klauba was doing a lot of painted Phantom covers and things, and our buddy Alex Saviak also did a lot of work for various Phantom publications over the years.
Yeah.
So no, and of course we got to remind people that the Phantom was pre-Superman and was one of the first masked heroes.
Right. Absolutely. Beat him to it. And then also Will gave us a great article about the Executioner, the paperback hero that kind of, Marvel stole the idea for the Punisher, essentially. If you know the Punisher, you know the Executioner.
Mac Bullen. Yep.
And
absolutely.
And those books were, I mean, for me, they were a big deal growing up, and kind of gritty. And Will also in his writing career wrote one of the episodes, like 426 or something. And,
wow. And again, that's how many novels, everybody. 426 novels. And that's the one that Will wrote. And certainly there have been subsequent ones since then. No, they call that genre the men's adventure books. And I find that history of those fascinating, because they were started by the romance novel books. And they're like, well, we certainly have the women. Shouldn't we make something for the men?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it all started, with the Executioner, and also Remo Williams, the Destroyer.
Yeah.
And certainly a lot of other knockoffs over the years.
Yeah. We've got Remo coming up in another article, another issue, in fact. And the Executioner, turns out this guy wrote a story, Pendleton, about this guy who was a hey John, thank you, who wrote a story all about this Vietnam vet who came back and got involved with this case with the mob.
Yep.
And then they changed it around. They turned it in this ongoing series, and it morphed a few times, and it's kind of fascinating to see how it did morph. But that was great. And also another piece of that was there was this fantastic artist who did all the early covers. And like, if you just collect, artwork or like the covers, the Executioner has a whole, life of its own that people, would like or enjoy.
100%. No, I love going to secondhand bookstores and rifling through those paperbacks. And also there's a couple men's adventure groups on Facebook that I belong to. And yeah, man, thank you to those collectors that will show photos of those covers. Because they were They were fun. And they were in that Robert McGinnis painter style of kind of pulpy covers. I mean, they really were like the next generation after the classic pulps of the 40s and 50s. That's what paperbacks morphed into, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I started collecting those as well. Like, I'm a big reader, but I've got a bunch of those that I found in the bargain bins, and it's beautiful. And as long as my wife doesn't see that extra collection kind of growing, everything will be good. I don't know if she's watching this. I hope she's not, but yeah.
And she points out, yes, the Remo Williams, the adventure begins and ends, he says, is the question mark. Well, yeah, that was a shame. Fred Ward played Remo in that early 80s movie, and it's a shame we didn't get more movies than just the one. And Guy Hamilton directed it, who was a great Bond director and everything. He did Live and Let Die, and he did was it Goldfinger? No, Terrence Young did Goldfinger. He did one of the 60s ones as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Guy Hamilton. Yes, he did. He did. And he came back and everything. And yeah, he did. I know he did Man with the Golden Gun, and I'm pretty sure he did Live and Let Die. But yeah, he does the Remo Williams movie. And listen, I know, and I'm not waving it off in a condescending way. I understand from an Asian representation frustration standpoint.
Yeah.
That Joel Grey playing Chun, the Korean, is problematic today. And I'm sure if they were to ever remake Remo, they would clearly get an old, it's a shame Mako, the fantastic Asian actor, didn't play Chun. He would have been a fantastic Chun back in the day. He played a similar character on The Incredible Hulk, where he was a blind martial artist expert that helped the Hulk kind of rein in the anger and stuff in a couple episodes. But wonderful actor, fantastic character actor. He did a Columbo. He even did The West Wing. Fantastic actor, regardless. But I love those Remo Williams movies, and also the books. I'll admit it; they're misogynistic. It is Remo pretty much having sex with every woman that he meets that he's attracted to, and it's very funny. But I'm sorry. I still like them. I'm okay with liking them, and I don't regret my reading of Remo Williams and Mac Bolan and those kinds of books. They're cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's in number 46. I should just point out we've got Remo. And
okay,
on the cover of that. Yeah, on the cover.
Maybe
of that,
a year from now.
Yeah. We've got Shatner and T.J. Hooker.
Great.
And we've got a big Kiss article in that issue. So that's along with Remo Williams. That'll be a nutty issue. That'll be so
is the fact that you guys are bi-monthly, is that what you can handle from an editorial standpoint, or is that what the market is showing is smart enough to let's not overflood the market with 12 issues, let's just stick with 6 issues?
Yeah, that's a great question. And if anyone has some answers, I'd love to hear it. There's a competitive magazine by like the TV Guide group called Remind Magazine, and it's very thin, right? So we go deep dive. They're more listicles and just skim. That comes out every month. And
I've seen that magazine. That's funny.
Yeah, and I think it's like a different type of person. I think that if you like that, you're not sitting down being like, oh man, let me read this. Let me read this interview with this star.
Yeah,
it's more like, oh yeah, I want to remember this thing and then go on to the next. So part of the thing is too, we've got like a bunch of great writers we use every month, and then we've been working hard to get some new people into the fray too. And I don't want to burn out the regular writers, and I want to keep them in the boat. So
sure,
to have them do more probably would be a little hard. We've thrown around crazy ideas, like maybe we should do a retro spy special issue at some point, just do all spy things, beyond the monthly schedule. But
Bob Harrison is giving you credit as well. He says Ed is the best editor-in-chief around. Does Bob contribute to the magazine?
Oh yeah, Bob just had a letter printed. He's such a complimentary, supportive guy. He's just such a good fellow all around. So good to see you, Bob. Thanks for
fellow podcaster, pop culture hound. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, he does a great job with he's my editor on Pop Culture Squad, and then his Tuesday night podcast with Mike Gold are just fantastic. Pop Culture Squadcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bob. That's right. It's Pop Culture Squad. Everybody, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So they do, and Mikey and Mike do a great job. Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think you're gonna have to find out from Mike if he was around for those Challenge of the Superheroes things. If he has any new insight, I know the magazine. I think when Mike was still editing, I think there was, or in maybe back issue, there might have been an article about those specials. But again, I think there's been enough time since then that it would be worth revisiting.
Yeah. I do believe there was a article. I don't remember if it was us or back issue, but yeah, and I kind of like looked at it, with one eye, just the painful old days. Like, oh my gracious, the personal level. And what else? Oh yeah, we got Scott Savidra, who's our designer. He always does our end page gag, but he's a fantastic writer. The letter writers love him, and this issue he's got this cool. A guy like you would love this article, John, before they were stars. So it's a deep dive into all these people who became big stars, but the commercials that they start off with, where it's like, oh, wait a minute, is that Travolta? Is that Sandy Duncan? What? It's amazing. Is that Farrah? To see them before they started.
Yeah, she was all over the place in ads before Charlie's Angels. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
No, that's funny. That's crazy. Well, that's funny because also I love the ones that did all the soaps before they became big stars. Demi Moore used to be on General Hospital. And by the way, sad note, among the sad deaths over the weekend, Anthony Geary, Luke from General Hospital, Luke Spencer, passed away.
Oh,
and, 78 years old.
Yeah,
Luke and Laura. Absolutely. Those were our college years. Absolutely, man.
Oh, that was such a big deal. Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah.
I never.
Jeannie Francis, who was Laura, married to Jonathan Frakes of Star Trek fame.
Oh.
And and they came to Terrificon the year Jonathan was there, like 2 or 3 years ago. And I had to tell Jeannie, I'm like, oh God, when that great episode where Laura was presumed dead in that classic soap opera way for a couple of years, and then she came back. And I remember watching that episode that she came back, and it was me, my college roommate in the dorms, and 2 football players from Illinois State University, and we're screaming at the TV. And I'm like, we're the most pathetic men ever because we're giddy that this love, this sad love affair is back on and everything. And she was laughing about it. I'm like, you'll forgive me. I'm sure you've heard this a couple million times. But yeah, she was great. And also, I told Jonathan, I'm like, hey man, I hope I'm not a creep, but I got to be honest. I said I had a big crush on your wife, and he goes, oh, no, I'll tell her. She loves hearing shit like that.
I'm sure she gets it all the time.
Oh, my God. She's lovely, lovely woman. Absolutely. And also, God, mentioning General Hospital, Mitch had Tristan, I think his name was Tristan Rogers. He was Scorpio, a friend of Luke's on General Hospital. And they had like kind of a secret agent vibe. That's what I love about the old soaps, that they would have crime stories and spy stories and crazy stuff. And there was a whole thing with the guy who played Baltar on Battlestar Galactica, John Colicos. And of course, he was Core on Star Trek, but he was Nikos Cassadine, as Robert Scorpio said, being an Australian man. And we're on the trail of Nikos Cassadine. And he had a weather controlling machine.
Of course he did. Of course.
And Elizabeth Taylor showed up on General Hospital as Nikos Cassadine's wife, the Contessa.
Oh my God.
And it's like, are you kidding me? But and it was John Colicos, just like him, or Colicos, however you said his name. The same kind of bravado he would show as Core in Star Trek and as Baltar in Galactica, and that's what he brought to General Hospital when he was out there.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, I feel like they were kind of writing those things on the fly too. Like, oh, let's do a secret agent.
Yes. And now, and all of a sudden Luke Spencer is working undercover. I need your help, Luke. You got to get Nikos Cassadine in his weather machine. Sure.
Of course.
Sure.
That damn weather machine. Yes, of course. Of course.
So are there other features that we have?
Oh, yeah. One that I think is so John Suntress focused, maybe your listeners too, is this TV Guide preview issue, right? Like let me tell you something, children. When I was a boy, before all this streaming, these preview guides would come out and it would lay out what's going to be going on. I'm wearing my Robin shirt. I forgot about that. Yeah, there's
nice. Wow, that's a great shirt
for that thing. Yeah. The preview issues would celebrate all the upcoming shows, and you'd kind of say like, oh, I wonder which ones will be a hit and which ones won't be. And
the fall preview. Yes.
Yeah. So we have this great article that talks all about, the show, the different fall previews from a few different years and the breakout shows, maybe the ones that looked a lot better, than they really were. And that's okay.
Did I see in the latest issue, did it mention Future Cop? Was there something about that? That was Desi Arnett. No. Future. All right. There were a couple different police shows.
Yeah.
Had a sci-fi bit. There was the wacky comedy Holmes and Yo-Yo with John Schuck.
Yeah.
As the robot in that one.
And then, John Schuck.
And I don't remember who played Future Cop, but it was Ernest Borgnine and a robot, and they were beat cops.
Oh,
and then the third one was Automan, and it was kind of this digitally generated thing, AI basically come to life. And Desi Arnaz Jr. was the human being in Automan. So I remember those three. When you mentioned fall previews, that's the kind of thing they would be like, hey, coming this fall. And it's like, you better watch fast because in 3 episodes, it's not going to be there anymore.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, some of them came and went so quick. It's just amazing. Or things that you thought would be a hit. Like, we don't talk about it in this issue, but I remember after Animal House, like every network had an Animal House knockoff, those crazy fraternity boys. And, they all evaporated within weeks.
The San Pedro Beach Bums.
Oh, yes. We do talk about San Pedro Beach Bums in this article. Yeah.
I remember that show. I loved that show when I was, 10 years old watching it and stuff. And of course, Delta House was the Animal House one.
Yeah.
And it had basically had everybody except Tim Matheson and John Belushi and Peter Rieger.
Yeah.
And pretty much everybody else that was in the frat. Because even D-Day was in Bruce McGall.
Yeah.
Bruce McGill, rather.
That's the one I'd like to see. I remember watching that. I loved Animal House so much as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, still do.
Michelle Pfeiffer was the blonde on the Delta House show. Because that was before Grease and everything Grease 2 and all her big movies and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got to find that show. Jeez. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. Angie's right. Automan was trying to cash in on Tron. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And John says too, yes, Automan was great. Absolutely. And yes. As far as those fall previews, Ange says he thought We Got It Made was going to be a huge hit because of the previews. Well, yeah, Terry Copley, I want to say was her name. Knockout, beautiful young blonde starlet. He made posters and everything. Terrible show, but you certainly paid attention to Terry Copley when she was on screen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So funny.
Yep.
So funny. I got another article here too that I know you would like as a Star Trek guy.
Zooming in.
This. This is written by our buddy Brian Stroud, who's a strong contributor at Back Issue Magazine. Turns out he's distantly related to Commodore Decker, right?
William Wyndham.
Doomsday Machine episode.
The great William Wyndham, a fantastic character actor.
Fantastic character actor. Yeah, just great. So he talks about that. And there's also an old-timey politician in the mix too. And
oh, wow.
To be able, whose picture was on the $2 bill. And we show that in the magazine. And, to be able to give someone that platform to say, wait a sec, my cousin was a Star Trek guy. You probably know. Let me talk about it. Is so much fun.
Do you remember when the Sci-Fi Channel was showing the original series, and they made them 90-minute presentations of the hour episodes because they also put back footage that was too long for the network.
Oh,
but the footage still existed, so they were able to put them back. But I remember Beyond Shatner would host them, and then Nimoy would host them. But they would also have significant players like Lee Merriweather showed up for her episode and things. but William Wyndham showed up for the Doomsday Machine as Commodore Decker. And he said, of all the things I played, he goes, and again, one episode, that's it. But he made such an impact because he was that good of an actor and it was that well written of a character that, of course, we all remember Commodore Decker and how big of a moment that was. That's one of the great original series episodes.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. I'll bet Lee Merriweather didn't say that about her episode where she played whatever in that season 3 clunker.
This is true. I was telling you that we're going to do Burl Ives on our Scene Missing show.
Yeah.
And the Bold Ones, one of the episodes that I found, the character actor's name was Steve Inhat, and he played Garth of Izar in that 3rd season. That's the episode where Yvonne Craig was the green dancing alien.
Right.
He's the crazy guy that's the inmate that suddenly takes over the asylum and has Kirk under in a jail cell with the great K. Luke, the great number 1 son, as an older man. But he played Garth, a captain who was this great. His backstory on the episode was he was a great Starfleet captain that went crazy. Right. He was in the mental institution, and then he commandeers the mental asylum and is taken over. It's again one episode, but a fantastic episode. But Steve Inhat, the actor, is in this Bold Ones episode that I told the guys to watch for our Burl Ives retrospective.
Cool. Yeah, what a deep dive.
Well, again, those I love. That's why, and I know you feel the same way. And again, that's great that you have the article about William Wyndham because it is those character actors. I mean, William Wyndham, for people who don't know, he had a sitcom in the early '60s, The Farmer's Daughter, with Inger Stevens, and and he also was in the James Thurber one-season show, My World and Welcome to It, which is a very smart. It's one of those great shows that only made it a season, but it was a really smart and cute sitcom and everything.
Yeah, Thurber, of course. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. The man behind the Secret Life of Walter Mitty, among other things. Yeah. But great short story and novelist. But these character actors, I just think were so fantastic. And that's what I love about watching, especially a lot of the old reruns, stuff from the 60s through the 90s. And yeah, you see these people, like you were saying earlier, about how actors would be in first commercials and stuff in your article in Retro.
Yeah.
But also, these TV shows where they would show up and, they only had 3 minutes to make an impact. And they did. And they were great actors and stuff. I was telling the guys, the law firm that Burl Ives is in the Bold Ones, it was called The Lawyers. And it was James Ferrantino was the young guy. And the old man was Burl Ives, but the middle-aged guy was the great Joseph Campanella.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a big fan of his stuff over the years.
Jeez. What a law firm. Can you imagine going to that law firm? What do they bill for an hourly rate? Oh my God.
And also, all those shows were about social issues of the day. Quincy was like that too.
Yeah.
Jack Klugman show. Where, they were procedurals, but they were about a current issue that was important to society at that moment. And that's why I find them interesting now as kind of timepieces.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. The last one I got to tell you about is Scott Shaw, the legendary, pop culture guy. Scott Shaw does a deep dive into the guy who probably was the inspiration for Indiana Jones. This guy, Roy Chapman Andrews. He was like the archaeologist who'd go out there and find dinosaur bones and have adventures along the way in real life and be covered by the New York Times of the day and the Tribune, and led a fascinating life and, did everything in kind of like a big way, almost like as if Indy was a real guy. And
in that same 30s period or 20s period.
Yeah, he wrote some books all about like his expeditions in the 20s and the 30s, like right in those days when motor vehicles were just kind of starting, and mounting an expedition to Mongolia to find dinosaur eggs, and no one really even understands dinosaurs fully yet at that time. Is crazy stuff, and he would use the media to get people interested in what he was doing, so he'd get sponsorship essentially.
That's cool. I know too. There was Frank Buck, and there was a brief early '80s show trying to drift off the Indy thing, and it was called Bring 'Em Back Alive. And that Frank Buck was a real guy.
Right. Yeah. He was like an African explorer. He was just a little bit later, but yeah, maybe we should do something on him too. Yeah. He was, I learned all about him through the Classics Illustrated comics of
Sure.
We did a Bring 'Em Back Alive Classics issue way back when. So
there you go, man. No, it's a great magazine.
Thank
if you've
you.
got a pop culture fan in your life, you may want to. Here, I'll even throw up the picture.
Oh, thanks.
Even better of Retro Fan. And so, how much is a yearly subscription?
Yeah, so yearly subscription is $77. Each issue is about $10 now, $11. But you know, it's that type of thing that you'll be happy to have on your coffee table. It's a great gift for someone who loves either the cover feature or who's just into, you know, old TV shows, old movies, old trends, and old fads. So, you know, we just love it. It's every issue we have a ball putting together, and then invariably people will come talk and say how much fun they have reading it. So it's all fulfilling.
Well, again, as I was telling you off the air, we should really do this every 2 months and highlight the new issue, because you know I'll be happy to talk about some of these subjects and stuff. And it's a good excuse to get guys on. I'll bug you to put me in touch with Will Murray, but of course our friend Scott Shaw, who I enjoy talking to.
Oh yeah,
he's got a wonderful animation background. I'm sorry that they bury them so late in the very early twilight hours of the overnights, but they show Camp Candy and the Misadventures of Ed Grimley, and Scott had a big hand in both of those shows and was good friends with Candy when he was alive, and friends with Martin Short. Worked with Joe Flaherty, who did stuff for the Ed Grimley show as well.
Yeah.
So no, I love talking.
He writes about all that stuff, right? He did like the big Second City and the John Candy thing, and yeah, and it's great. And I mean, he's a guy who was right there for so much of it. And,
absolutely. Well, and also, and the way I was introduced to him, I mean, I had forgotten that he was the guy behind DC's Captain Carrot, of course.
Yeah.
And then all those Earthsea pet superheroes and everything. But Artie's like, you know, all those great Back to Breakfast cereals, the Pebbles, the Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles commercials. Scott was the guy that was animating those things and then doing the design work for those things they were on Hanna-Barbera model. They looked like the cartoons. And the reason why is they had a smart guy like Scott Shaw who knew how to draw that stuff.
Yeah, and such a big, you know, fan. And, you know, he also was instrumental in starting San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes, I did know that.
Absolutely.
I was talking to my friend Matt Klickstein.
Oh,
did that wonderful Sirius XM series, Comic-Con Begins. They're still working on the video of the documentary series. I hope that it finds a streaming home.
The book was fantastic too.
Absolutely.
If any of your listeners need a good book reco, I think I put that on the my gift guide when it came out. It was just such a fun book.
Yeah, I agree. And that's another thing you've got in there, right? You've got holiday gifts in the current issue.
Oh, yeah, not in this, but in my column, I'll talk about all the cool things. So on Pop Culture Squad.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So you'll find that at Bob's website. And,
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. No, good to hear, man. No, Ed, as always, truly. Any thoughts, Ed? I mean, it hasn't shaken out yet, but I mean, it's still a story in process. But the whole Warner Brothers for sale thing, and that Netflix and Paramount are fighting for it. As a media guy, any thoughts on that?
Oh my gosh, yeah, so many thoughts. I mean, it's amazing the way like the game is played now, and the way these, you know, big corporations either, you know, suck up to politicians or, you know, play chess to make it happen. And also, it's unclear if anyone will make money on, the merger as well. Like on the other side, it seems hard to understand with the big money that you pony up that, you know, there'll be a time when you'll be churning out profits after. So,
well, I mean, it all depends on what happens to some of the TV properties that are under the Warner Brothers umbrella. Netflix doesn't want them. And as I've understood it from a financial standpoint, they almost want to spin off the debt to the Discovery channels and CNN and those entities. And really, they want the movie library and the ability to make new movies and new television shows. That's what Netflix wants. And Paramount now having CBS and their political agenda, without going into detail, again, there's a fear of, they might want the properties, but they are likely to change the makeup of things like CNN in the same way that they did to CBS News. And again, it may even absorb parts of CNN into CBS, but they have to be approved by the FTC. There is political interference at the top of the administration in a way that they never got involved because, I don't know, there used to be a whole thing about how we wanted a free freedom of the press that was not influenced by politics. But that seems to be a quaint idea that is slowly slipping away. And that's a shame.
I think that's the way it was years ago when I was a child. I vaguely remember something like that, John.
Ed, I am proud for the years that I did work for CBS News. And by the same token, I'm glad I'm not with CBS News anymore because it's already changing very radically in a direction that is not unbiased and objective.
Oh,
and that
crazy.
That really just depresses me.
Oh, yeah. Even guys like John Dickerson, Bale.
I like John. I think John's a good man. He's got integrity. There are some people there that have integrity. They are letting people in who, despite their claims of objectivity, I would say their actions prove that to not be true. And, we all know that the Ellisons are friends of the current administration, literally friends. And that's one of the reasons why it was like, oh, yeah, Netflix is buying, done deal. And it's like, hold on, Paramount, we're not done. And all of a sudden, the president is saying, oh, we got to look at that. I don't know. And it's like putting his thumb on the scale. And I'm sorry, I got a problem with that. Also, there might be foreign investors that are involved in the Paramount acquisition. And that was something that used to be illegal. We didn't want foreign entities owning American press.
Right. And one thing, like, I'm not sure if I said it wrong but Dickerson is actually leaving CBS.
I didn't know that. Oh my God. Well, there you go.
He's taking a stand. Yeah. So
there you go, man. No, and honestly, I know others that got cut because of corporations capitulating to this current administration, and they're good journalists that have integrity. The good news is, and I hope Dickerson follows suit, I don't know where he'll land, but if he wants to start his own podcast, he certainly can. And I appreciate a lot of the reporters that are out there doing their own thing. And guys like Jim Acosta and Don Lemon come immediately to mind. We'll see.
I love that Oberman podcast. We've talked about that.
Love Keith. Absolutely. Good dude. Yeah. He and I had a mutual friend in Bert Sugar, my old Boxing Illustrated editor-in-chief.
Oh, funny.
Oberman was a disciple of Bert's just like I was. So, we kind of share that in common. We've even talked about it online a couple of times.
Cool. That's cool.
But again, everybody, politics aside, Retro Fan from tomorrow's. Always good to talk to the editor-in-chief of Retro Fan, Ed Catto. Well done. Another great issue, and continued success with the magazine and with the Captain Action stuff. And of course, Ed will be back in the spring to talk about Ithacon, the wonderful convention that happens at Ithaca College that Ed and the students put on every year. It's one of the best shows in upstate New York, and I am always happy.
I think it's one of the best of the small shows. The nation's second longest running show. The fellow who founded it, Bill Turner, still very much involved, and we have a ball with that. And I can't wait to talk about that. Thanks for all your support, and let me just say all the listeners too that Word Balloon Podcast is a great thing for a gift for that comic fan in your life. $3 a month, $4 a month, is it worth the price of a comic? I'm a big believer in everything you do, John. And
thank you.
Now's a good time for people to, step up.
It would make a nice holiday gift for the comic book fan in your life. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
So thank you, Ed Catto. I'm going to record something tomorrow. Mr. Skin, the internet pioneer, who tells us where all the hot naked parts of the movies that we all want to see. He always comes on at the year to give us the year in nudity in television and film, and we elevate the conversation beyond the pervy side of it. I promise you, we do. So I'm going to record something with him Wednesday night. I'm going to have, and I'm sorry, I hope I'm saying his name right, Jose Trujillo, and Jose is doing coming up in early 2026 a Marvel crossover with the Fantastic Four meeting the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
it's
wow.
True. And
yeah, in previews. Yeah, right.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I had the opportunity of already reading the first issue. It's pretty damn good. Andre DeVito doing the art for it and everything. No, it's a nice and a good Cafu cover.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I look forward to that. But that's coming up this week on Word Balloon Live. So I hope you'll join us then. And Thursday night, Scene Missing, we're talking with the guys about the great career of Burl Ives, and not only in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but his Oscar-winning role in The Big Country. I'm sure Cat on a Hot Tin Roof will come up, and a lot of other Burl goodness. So join us for that this week on Word Balloon Live. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.